Welcome to the High School Huddle. My name is Brandon Chapman. I'm joined by Ryan Aber. He's the lead prep writer for the Oklahoman. And we've got several different topics to discuss, so let's jump right into it. The Yukon Putnam City baseball game last week featured two of the top pitchers in the state as Yukon's Chad James and PC's Andrew Haney went head-to-head. Ryan, what did you learn from that matchup?
Well, it's hard to learn a whole lot just because of the weather conditions. A really windy day. Both of them just sort of had to grind it out. Although we did know that both these guys were two of the top pitchers in the state, and there's no change in that afterwards. They were both dominant at times. Yukon's lineup is just a little bit better than PC's, so they were able to scrape some things together. Ryan Gibson got one high up in the air, and in a wind like that, getting it high up's half the battle. He floated it up there, and it got out. But just a great high school baseball game.
Okay. Well, who are some of the other top pitchers in this area and the state?
Well, I think other than those two, you've got to include Gibson in that mix. He pitched the next day against Putnam City and pretty well shut them down. Just a big guy, can get it up over 90. A couple other guys in the area. You've got to talk about Duke Von Schaman from Edmond Santa Fe. Obviously, that's a name that's recognized. He's Uwe's son. Can be dominant at times. And then you're going down, Bryson Shawnett from Moore helped them make the 6A title game last year, once again pitching really well. Zach King from Deer Creek is a guy we don't hear a whole lot about, but another guy with outstanding stuff. And then getting down to some of the smaller classes, Jonathan Gray from Chandler had a great season last year, 11-1, an ERA about 1.8. And Drew Crittenbrink, who seems to do just about everything for Okarche, had an ERA of sub-1 last year, and he's getting into the flow after helping them make the state basketball tournament, but he's going to be a really good pitcher for them.
Okay, that sounds like some guys to keep an eye on. Well, Danny Reynolds was relieved of his duties as the OSSAA's executive secretary. Ryan, you've been close to those proceedings. Just tell us kind of what went on.
Well, it's just, in February, they found out that there was some money that was missing and unaccounted for. They started digging a little bit and found out through their investigation, at least that they're alleging right now, that he had misappropriated some of the money. He has been the only one who is responsible for his credit card reimbursements, which led to some trouble there with that. And sources have told me that the amount is in excess of $100,000. Now, how in excess, we should find out over the next month or so as these details slowly leak out and they start getting deeper into that investigation. But this appears to be something that's been going on for a while.
Sounds like they need to set up some checks and balances.
Yeah, and they are taking steps to do that. They've got an outside group investigating. They're also doing some internal auditing and investigating, trying to figure out exactly what they need to do to assure that this never happens again.
Okay. Well, John Calipari left Memphis to go to Kentucky, and obviously that affected two guys here in the city area. Putnam City, Xavier Henry has signed with Memphis, and Daniel Orton from Bishop McGinnis has signed with Kentucky. So obviously that's kind of thrown their plans in the air. What do you think is going to end up happening?
Well, I think with Orton it's as simple as a conversation with John Calipari, figuring out if he fits into their plans. Calipari's seen him play. He's familiar with him. It's just figuring out if he can fit into that system there. With Henry, it's a little more complicated because he's likely going to be a one-and-done guy. He went to Memphis in large part because of Calipari, but also because his brother, C.J. Henry's there. And if he's a one-and-done guy, C.J. can go wherever he's going to go, but they're not going to get to play together on the same floor. So Memphis is his only option if he still wants to play with C.J. So it's going to be a difficult situation. I figure that Xavier will likely end up somewhere else, whether that be Kentucky or go back and go to Kansas. But it's a tough deal for him, and I know he feels pretty bad about the way it's played out.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough situation because he went to play with his brother, and now doesn't look like it's going to happen for him.
Yeah, and I can't see him hanging around 2 years at college just to get a chance to play with CJ. As good as that would be, he is a talent that has a chance to go to school for 1 year and then go play in the NBA and make some money, and it's hard to fault him for that.
Exactly. Well, Ryan, we appreciate your expertise. Thank you for watching the High School Huddle. We'll be back next week as we continue to provide the best high school coverage in the state.